All right, guys, welcome to Chapter 5, Lesson 7. Chapter 5, Lesson 7, you can find these pages on 341 to 346. All right, so you'll need to tear those out of your workbook, and you will need to put a staple right there in the upper left-hand corner, and then put your name here at the top. That's the first thing you need to do. This will be counted part of your grade right here by putting your name in the staple, because a lot of you don't want to do that. We need to make sure we keep the pages in order because we're just being sloppy if we don't. All right. So this chapter is called Addition Properties. Again, all this is all part of the how can I use place value and properties to add and subtract decimals. You can use properties of addition to find the sums of whole numbers and decimals mentally. When there are no parentheses, remember these are parentheses, you can add these, again, when there's no parentheses, you can add these in order from left to right. All right. So let's look at the first one, math in my world. Here we have example 1. Elijah recorded the number of different movies he watched last month. Use properties of addition to mentally find the total number of movies. So again, we're going to be doing mentally. And what makes this unique here is we're getting the actual correct answer. We're not estimating, we're getting the actual answer. And we're doing that by, again, using mental math, so we have to write anything down. So what we're going to do is we're going to find some numbers that are easier to add together. So this Elijah dude over here, he's watched 5 comedy movies, he's watched 27 action movies, he's watched 15 drama movies. He's watched a lot of movies. So we're going to add up all those movies. So we're going to have to find 2 numbers that we're going to add together that are easiest to add together. And hopefully when looking at those numbers, you would see that the 5 and the 15, that's pretty easy to add together. You say 5 plus 15 equals 20, right? And then you would say, well, 20 plus 27 is 47. That's how this works. So it says you can easily add 5 and 15. So change the order of these groups and group those numbers together. This is based off of the commutative property of addition, states that the order in which the numbers are added does not change them. So I can add 5 plus 15, and that's going to equal 20, right? I can add 15 plus 5, and I'm still going to get 20. That's part of the commutative property of addition right here. That's commutative, not commutative, but commutative. And then you have the associative property of addition, and that states that the way in which the numbers are grouped doesn't change the sum. So kind of what I always told kids, like this is associate, like it's who you associate with. It's what kind of group you're in. These are the ones that have the parentheses in it. But again, I can say, 5 plus 15 plus 6 equals, if I group these together, I'm going to get 26. I can say 5 plus 15 plus 6. If I group these two together, I'm still going to get 21. I'm still going to get 26. So it doesn't matter which group that I add together. I'm still going to get 26. And again, that's the associative property. Just kind of remember that as these are who you associate with. It's your group, because it says right here, numbers that are grouped. And then commutative property, it just doesn't matter what order they're in. So we have here the 3 movies that he's watched. We already know that. So we're going to rearrange the numbers. So we're not going to look at 5 plus 27 like we have in the order here. We're going to change it around, and we're going to say, well, 27 plus 5 plus 15. So we got them in a different order there. And so we're going to put it in a group now, as it shows you here in this roundabout way. Again, we're going to put 5 here. We're going to put 15 here. Okay, we just put it in a group. We put the parentheses around this. So that means we're going to add these first, which that's going to give us a 20. And then you add those together, you're going to get 47. So he's watched a total of 47 movies. So again, this one right here, use the commutative property, because it doesn't matter which order they're put in, which, one before the other. And then this one here is the associative property. Both of them work. Both of them are still going to get you to this right here, where you can add this and make that pretty simple. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the next page. Again, I've stapled this, so all I got to do is do this, guys. Look how easy that is. I don't have it all wrinkled up and ripped up. All right, so another property we're going to talk about is the identity property of addition. And the identity property of addition states that the sum of any number and zero equals that number. And this, for some reason, is always baffling to you guys when I say, hey guys, what is 12 plus 0? And you always say 0. You always do. I don't know why that is. But this identity property is stating right now that any number, 12, and 0 adding together, you're going to get that number, 12. It works the same thing with decimals, exact same thing with decimals. So we're going to use properties to find 1 and 8/10 plus 2 and 6/10 plus 0 mentally. Okay, we're going to do this mentally. Well, we're doing it on paper, but typically you might try to do it mentally in your head. So this is the order that we have written up above, right there, right? Now, we're going to add, looks to me like, I don't know what they've done here. Oh, okay, so they broke up the one whole number here. So they're going to say 1 because they think this is 1 and this is 8/10. They just broke it up. And they did the same thing to this one, but this is a 2. So they said 2, whole number 2, plus 0. All right, because this right here is that number. And this right here is that number. And then you've got your 0 right there. Okay. And again, they just split this up so that it might be a little bit easier for you to add these numbers when you try to put them together. And again, sometimes even I have to look at these and think, what? So we have, it appears, we're going to add the whole numbers first, these 1 and the 2s here, right? Because you got the 1 here. So let's go add 1 plus 2. So we're going to put that in a group there. So 1 plus 2, and then the only other thing we have right here is 0.6 or 6/10. Okay, we just kind of regroup them. Again, using the commutative property, we just kind of mixed them around a little bit. That way all the whole numbers are together, all the decimals together. So again, we're going to put parentheses around these like we did here. So there's 1 plus 2, and then we put parentheses around these guys here, which is down here in this level here. And this is 0.6. So now we're just going to add these. What's 1 plus 2? Well, we get 3. All right. Now this one right here. Now, if you can't do this one mentally, you're going to have to probably come over here. So you do 0.8 plus 0.6, like we've been doing. And we say, well, 8 plus, because I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to immediately want to say, well, this is 0.14. Okay, that's not it, because when you do 8 plus 6, you get 4. And then remember, we dropped the decimal down. We carried the 1 for the 14. So it's 1.4. Now, can we add those up? Of course we can, because we have a whole number here and a whole number there. 3 plus 1 is 4. We got our decimal. And then using the identity property of addition up here, 4.4 or 4 4/10 plus the 0 equals the number itself, which is 4 4/10. All right, and that's our answer. It would really help me out if you guys would circle your final answer. Because when I go around looking on the page, I have to kind of search for that, and I don't always know where it's at. All right, so the guided practice down here. Use properties of addition to find each sum mentally. Show your steps and identify the properties that you used. Notice I'm reading the instructions. Okay, it's not that hard to read the instructions. We want to dive around on stuff all the time and not pay attention to where we're at. And then we don't know why we missed. Read the instructions. Read the instructions. So we have 9 plus 27 plus 1. Okay, so I have some numbers here. I could probably add them up and not have to use mental math and not have to use commutative property thing, but I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway. So it looks like I know that I can take 9 and 1 and make 10. So we're going to go ahead and write, they have it written right here for you. So we rearrange the numbers so we can put the 9 and the 1 close together. And that's what they've done here in the associative. They basically put parentheses around this. So they put 9 and 1 here. It's just the same thing, but they just do it on another level. We'll do that first. What's 9 plus 1? Yes, you get 10. And guess what? 27 plus 10 is 37. Not too difficult. You're going to use properties to mentally determine whether 3 and 1/10 plus 8/10 plus 9/10 is less than, less than, greater than, or equal to 5. Explain. Okay. So again, this isn't a number, but it's part of the lesson. And, a lot of times you might just glance over it and you won't even see this problem. And again, I'm going to be looking when you turn this in as if you actually did this problem here. So we're going to look at, and I'm going to write it off to the side here. We have 3 and 1/10 plus 8/10 plus 9/10. Okay. Nope, that's not 9/10, is it? That's not 9/10 at all. Get rid of that. All right. There's 9/10. 0.9. There we go. And so we're going to look at this, and I'm going to say, well, this 9/10 and this 1/10, if I add that together, I know it's going to give me a whole. So I'm going to rearrange that and say, well, okay, 0.8 plus 3.1 plus 0.9. Now, I'm not going to go up here and write another whole level here. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go, well, I'm going to put a parentheses around that. Now, if I know 0.9, think of 90 cents. 90 cents and 10 cents, you're going to get a whole dollar, right? So that's going to be one whole, and we're going to add it to this 3. So that's going to give us 0.8 plus 4, right? And then, again, this is a whole number. Remember that. That's a whole number. If we were to add that together like we've been doing, like if we were to say 4 plus 0.8, well, we can't add that, can we? Because that's not lined up correctly. We'd have to make sure that we write it like this. We'd have to say 4 plus 0.8, like that. Because remember, this is where the whole number would go. This is the ones place. Well, that's a ones, right? That's 4 whole ones. So then we have the annexed 0 right there. And we add these together, which gives us, of course, 8 and 4, 4.8. So again, the question was, is the answer to this, which is that, by the way, less than, greater than, or equal to 5? So you say 4.8. Remember, this is one of those. And then 5. Okay, remember, this is the ones place right here. That's the ones place. Well, this is a ones. So is that one greater than, less than, or equal to? Well, it's not equal to. Obviously, yeah, this would be less than. 4.8 is less than 5. Okay. All right. You see, I just flip it over. I didn't wrinkle everything up. I didn't rip things. Okay. Let's do this side. And you see your homework here. You're going to have, it appears, a couple problems to do. We'll do this side here. Identify the properties that are used to find each sum. So it looks like they've done a lot of the legwork for you. All right. But we have to identify the property here, and that's what they're wanting you to do on this section here. So it looks like they've split numbers up and everything. So we're going to have to do a little bit of navigation, detective work here to figure out what we got going on. So it looks like 69 and 22 is our original problem. And now we have 60 and 9, and then we have 20 and 2. Well, looks to me like what they did there was they just expanded that, right? Yeah, they expanded that. And now they took all these numbers. These are the same numbers, right? We have 60, we have 20, we have 9, we have 2. Those are all the same numbers, but they rearranged them. And do you remember what that was called when we can rearrange it? Well, if we go back to the beginning, to these properties right here, remember right here, we said it doesn't matter which order you add them in. Nothing to do with parentheses right now. Remember, parentheses is just the associative property. Yeah, it doesn't matter what order we add them in right here. It's commutative. So we're going to write on this blank right here, commutative. I'm just going to write commutative. Okay, it doesn't matter which order. Remember what I said earlier? When you start putting parentheses around, that's which group you're in. Yeah, so we're going to write associative. You don't want to abbreviate that one. You can see why. Don't abbreviate that one. All right, now you just add. So So they've done the work for you. They've already told you the answer. So you didn't have to even find the answer because they didn't. They wanted you to see which of the properties that you're using there. Next one. Um, okay, so we have 11 and 7/7 plus 4 and 3/10 plus 0. And it appears that this one here, again, if you see parentheses, look at that, parentheses. I told you, parentheses. Look, they put that in a group, right? So that's associative because it's in a group. Associative. Associative. So they went ahead and added them. They did that for you. And that's all that means is they added for you because we're not finding the answer. We're just talking about which property is. All right. So now we get this one here. We got another blank. And it says 23 because we have the 0. 23 plus 0. Or like plus 0. Well, I know that's 23, but what property was that? So we got to go back and look. And we say, well, those didn't have anything to do with 0. There was another one here. Identity property of addition. There it is. Look, anything plus or adding is the sum of 0. So on this one here, we're going to write the identity property. All right, we're just going to write identity right there. And later on, there'll be identity of multiplication. But right now, we're just going to talk about that identity of, we'll just put add because they are a little bit different because the multiplication, it's 0. The answer is 0. But on this one, it's the number itself. And then the fourth one here, or the third one on our practice. All right, so we have 37 plus 26 plus 53. Okay, so we have 30. So it looks like they've mixed the numbers up here. They've changed the order they're in. So if we look up here, we say, well, they changed the order of it. Then they changed the order here, commutative, right? So we have commutative. We slapped some parentheses on these guys right here. Remember what that was? Yeah, the one we shouldn't abbreviate, associative, because we slapped the parentheses on, and then we add. Okay, and then they've already told us that. All right. So now we get to do one, and we have to show basically what they've done here. We got to do that all right here down at the bottom. We got to do all this ourselves now. We got to show what we've learned. So we have 10 and 9/10 plus 3. This is a whole number 3. Remember, these are all whole numbers right here. Plus 1/10. Okay. So we are going to rearrange these. All right. So we're going to say 3 plus, because I think these two are going to work well together because of the 9/10 and the 1/10. We add those together, we get a whole. So we're going to say 10 and 9/10 plus 1/10, and that would be the doesn't matter which order, so that's going to be commutative property. Okay, that's pretty easy. And now we're going to rewrite this and say 3 plus 10 and 9/10 plus 0 or 1/10, sorry, and we're going to slap parentheses around it. Remember parentheses, associative. Okay, let's add them. So we're just going to write add right here because that's what we're doing. Remember I said 1/10 and 9/10? That's whole, right? So that's going to add the whole to this one. So it's going to be 11. So now we have, and we're going to add again. And we're going to say this is 14 is our answer right here. So equals 14. And we're done. All right, we're done. Let's look on the back of the word problem here while we have a little bit of time here. Casey spent $2.50 on a snack, $1.24 on a gum, $3.76 on a comic book, and $5.50 on lunch. And we're going to use mental math to find out how much he spent. So if we were to write all of the, and we don't have to write all the properties on this one, okay? This one, though, we're just going to write it out. We're going to do it over here. We're going to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the ones that look like they're easy to deal with. How about this one? The 50s, right? When we're doing money, those are easy. So 250 plus 550. Those are easy to work with, right? And then let's go ahead and add these other ones, $1.24 and $3.76. Okay, we're going to write all those together. Now I'm going to go ahead and group them here. I'm going to say, well, that And we'll just do that. 250 and 550. Well, 50 and 50 equals $1. So we add that dollar here, makes us a 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. So this is $8 for those. And then look here, I just noticed something. 24 cents and 76 cents. That equals another whole dollar. So that whole dollar, we can add it on to here, which makes us a 2. And then we add this to 3, and we have 5, right? $5. Guess what? That's easy, right? 13 bucks. This dude spent 13 bucks on snacks. A little too much. Well, I guess he got a comic book too and some gum, but still. All right. In 1 week, a classroom collected 43 plus 58 plus 62 plus 57 plus 42. Why did I write them down? Because I know I'm going to be adding them, right? Because it asked for the sum right here, total and sum. So I'm going ahead and doing it. It doesn't take me that long to do it. You can see how long it's taken me, 21 minutes so far to get to this point. A lot of us, I don't know why it takes that long. So we're going to find some numbers that are going to be easy to add together. Now I'm looking here and I see 58 and 42. I add those together, I'm going to get 100, right? So I'm going to say 58 plus 42, that's a group. And then I also look here and say, well, 43 and 57, that gives me also 100. All right, so that makes it easy. So all it leaves me is 62 left over, right? So we have to add all those. So this equals 100. That equals 100. Well, that makes it easy. 262, right? We just did all that mentally like that. We just wrote it out, but you can almost kind of see that you can do that mentally on your own. And then the end here, we have the table shows the cost of a cheerleading uniform. Use properties of addition to find the total cost mentally. So again, we're going to use these three numbers. We're going to write down 65 plus 18 plus 35. We just write all the numbers down, and then we look at it and say, well, which numbers can I put together? Looks like 5 and 5 would be easy to add together. So we're going to say 65 plus 35, and then we have to add the 18 later on. 65 and 35 is, hey, that's 100. 100 plus 18 is, they spent $118 on cheerleading uniforms. Okay. All right, so go ahead and dive into your homework. Again, you've got all these stapled together, so you can go back and look at the properties. Again, here's a property, here's a property, and then on the back side of this, it's all stapled together nice and neat, hopefully, another property. But on your homework, it's asking you to use properties addition to find, and we have to show the steps. So that's on this one right here. On these two right here, you're going to basically do like we did back here on this problem right here. And I want you to write on here, C number 5 on, was this the independent practice? You know what that's called? Yeah, on independent practice. Okay, because I want you to do this problem like we did with number 5 here, as far as writing it out, writing what property it is here, and then showing me your thought process for that. That's for those two. All right? And then on the back, it doesn't require you to do that. You just have to add them up mentally. Again, we're not using our Chromebooks today on this at all. Stay closed. Add these together. Again, this is one of those. This one right here, it says, is it less than, greater than? So we're going to write on this one, C, page 342, and it's the talk math, because that is what I'm expecting of you to do for that problem, is to explain if it's greater than, less than, or equal to, based on that, what we did on that page. Okay. And then the bottom is pretty self-explanatory as well. So if you guys got any questions, you can either come back to my desk or I'll be on Google Meet where you can talk to me on there so I can answer those questions. When you're finished with this, again, make sure it's stapled and your name's on it and put it in the math box. Or if you're at home right now, just keep it together and I will get it whenever you guys get back and get your grade put in for that. and everybody needs to go into Prodigy when you're finished. And I'm going to assign specific problems for you, the games that you guys play in Prodigy, based on what we've been doing today and what we've been doing with decimals. So again, when you're finished, you need to go to Prodigy, Prodigy only, or again, we'll pay the consequences, and we won't have that extra recess day Friday, or like we've been doing for a while. Take off time for that if we're not doing what I'm asking you guys to do. So anyway, get on here in Google Meet or come back to my desk if you have any. Only if you have questions, not if you. I'm not going to show you how to do. I'm not going to go over this again with you. If you're going to say I don't know how to do this, I'm going to say we'll go back and watch this video, because I'm not going to say anything right now any more than what I just said in the video. Okay. With this video, it's a little bit more in depth, and it's not so loud because people are not blurting stuff out, and maybe you can hit pause and catch up. So you're kind of going at your own pace here. So again, go back to watch the video. But the only thing that I will help you on is the homework portion. If you have a question, if you're stuck, and again, I don't want you to come back here and say, I don't know how to do this. Again, I'm going to say, okay, then go back and watch the video. I need to see you have written down stuff, and I can see where you're stuck at for me to help you. It's not help if you don't have anything written down. It's called just giving you stuff, and I'm not going to just give you answers. You need to try to put something down in order for me to help you. All right. So, and trust me, guys, your guys' math grades right now, some of yours are in big, big trouble, and you need to buckle down and try a little harder what you guys are doing right now, or that math grade is not going to be coming up. So, and we're having a test this Wednesday over this stuff. So, all right, guys, that's it.